Russell T Davies, you have not lost your cheesiness. Space Babies, yes. I have just finished it. It's about 1:30 in the morning. I'm absolutely knackered, but I want to get this review out because it's fresh in my mind. I've got a lot to talk about. Yeah, so how I do my reviews, I give my positives and my negatives, and my first overall thought is it's okay. I think there is actually a lot of good in this episode. I've had a little look on reviews. As I said, I'm filming this straight after, so there's not many reviews, but they seem to be sort of in the middling to okay section, and I think there are parts of this where I like and other parts where I'm like, yeah. Now, it's bearing in mind, if you obviously have watched Doctor Who before, that Russell T Davies is known for having quite cheesy, quite crazy sort of stories, especially opening stories. And whilst CGI has certainly made stories more cheesier, I honestly thought with now a Disney budget, the CGI will be pretty good. And I think for the most part it is, but I think, you know, the part I'm pointing out where the CGI is a little bit, it's interesting. But anyway, and the first point is the dynamic. The dynamic between the Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, and Millie Gibson, Ruby Sunday. Really like the Doctor and Ruby in this. They are basically, straight off the bat, more or less, they are going really well together. And their intro, I really like the intro where Ruby's asking a lot of questions, and you know, they're sort of, the Doctor's giving her answers, and they're just really chatty, and it's keeping it flowing. It's a quick start because of how sort of good they are, and it sort of gets you in, it grips the audience in because of how sort of how sort of warm they are of each other, and it makes it feel like a really relaxed vibe, if you like. So really like that. I do like how there's a lot of dress. I understand this is sort of like a softer reboot, so we know what the TARDIS means, we learn about the Doctor and where he's from, we learn about basically all the little things we already knew, just to remind audiences, but that was fine. It didn't sort of take up a chunk of the episode. It sort of it went with the conversations that they were having, so that was really good. Let's speak about then the main thing of this, which was the Space Babies. They are interesting. Now the CGI, which I said was kind of, I honestly thought would be better, but I've never seen talking babies before. It's quite obviously, it's not poor CGI, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen better, but then I've never seen babies talk in a TV show before. So yeah, that's the first for me. Overall, the idea of the Space Babies, I like it. It's a cool concept. It's a quite a wacky, kind of ridiculous, stupid, classic Russell T Davies first story. It holds up. It's okay. I think it got a little bit slow when they were sort of comforting the babies and they were talking about them and like comforting them, and it was like the babies were crying, then other mum or dad, and then they thought they were mummy and daddy. All of that stuff, I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I know it's just setting us in for the tone of the episode, and this tone of the episode is not something I would particularly go for. Doesn't mean it's bad by any means. I think it's kind of pretty good. I think the Bogeyman is a really like simple but quite well executed addition to the show, and the idea that you know, it's the last of its kind, and we had that really, what I do like about Russell T Davies, and as much as cheesy as this episode, it turns very serious quickly. You can have that cheesy and that serious mix in a matter of, well, seconds it was here. And I love when that's pulled off, and that was the moment where the Doctor realised that it was the last of its kind when the Bogeyman was being sucked out of the airlock. Spoilers, by the way. And the Doctor was like, this is the last of my kind, I have to save it. I love the motivation that the Doctor has to save this monster that he was very scared of. And as simple as it was, and the execution was pretty simple, that moment there made that scene really actually quite moving for such a kind of ridiculous whole episode. So really do love that. The guest cast, obviously there's only one, the nanny. I quite like how the intercom was sort of phasing out any bad words that she was saying. I think they all bounced along really well with each other, and she was quite comfortable. I was quite comfortable watching her. I think she was really good. I think, yeah, all the characters were really good in this. Going into a bit more darker, deeper stuff about the Doctor and his past, not knowing where he's come from. We got a really good exclamation about about the Doctor and his past, where he was adopted by the Time Lords, and it's being described now in a much more, I like this kind of way. The Timeless Children arc I am slowly warming to because of how it's been explained here, and explained really simply. That's what I like. We're learning a lot about the Doctor and Ruby, and stuff that the audience needs to know, especially newer audiences, and stuff that we already know, but it's very, very quick, it's very, very informative, and it's moved on straight away, and I really, really like that. And then there's a whole mystery around Ruby, which I am loving. I loved at the end where the TARDIS was filled with snowflakes while he was looking at her DNA. There's a real mystery around Ruby, and that was straight away put on a plate to us throughout the episode, where we saw the bit where the Doctor had this memory of looking at this mysterious person, Ruby's mother. But we don't definitely know that is her mother, but we would assume it is. And who is it? Where is Ruby from? There was a thing where the person in the cloak was pointing at the Doctor. So there's a lot of things you could kind of theorise from this. Is it linked to the Doctor more than Ruby? Is it the Doctor's mother, you could even say? So there's a lot of things that we can kind of gather, which I'm sure we'll learn more throughout the series. Also, when they had the captain speaking on the other spaceship, the last woman was a very familiar woman who I've heard quite a bit about, is quite important in the upcoming series and potentially the future for the show. We see her prop up, and she's propped up again. So I'll be keeping my beady eye out to see if she props up again, because otherwise that is definitely a mystery box. But we've also got the whole mystery box around Ruby as well, which I really like, and kind of the Doctor as well. I feel like the Doctor's kind of been engraved into this mystery of where he is from, and yeah, but I love that Gallifrey is mentioned. Everything that sort of we know about is kind of mentioned, and we're sort of caught up to sort of updated to where we are regarding the Doctor as past and where he's feeling now. The Doctor himself, Ncuti Gatwa, this doesn't fall into a negative, it's just falling into... It doesn't feel like the Doctor still for me. I wasn't a massive fan of the Church on Ruby Road. You can go and catch my review if you haven't seen it already. I do like his... Well, he's absolutely mad, he's fun, he's smiley, he's happy, he's bouncing off the walls. And maybe I'm just not used to that. We've not had that... Well, I've not had this sort of level, but the last sort of level I remember is sort of Matt Smith. So this is definitely something to get used to, and something I think I will grow to like. I'm just a little bit like, okay, I need to prepare myself for when I watch, because it exhausts me watching him. But I think he's really, really good in the part. I like that, the whole story about how he's had time to sort of, he's been in rehab from the 14th to the 15th Doctor, and he feels a lot more happy. And some of the lines he says about when Ruby says to him, what we did today, we nearly died, why do I want to travel with you? And he was like, but we lived as well. We lived in the moment. And I love that. It's these little lines which is giving off that he's just a vibe, he's there to have fun, there's no dark past behind him. We get little glimpses of it with where he's from, but it doesn't really bring his emotion down, it doesn't make him like Capaldi dark or anything like that. So I think he keeps the tone really, really well. And this episode will be great for mainly younger children, I imagine, but there's still hiding little bits of hidden deeper moments which I really, really like. I've been quite positive. I'm not going to be too negative, but I mean, yeah, overall the story is okay. It's not, if I had to give it out of 10, I'd probably give it like probably 6.5 out of 10. I think I've just really missed Doctor Who, because it's been a while since I've had anything a proper series. It's been ages, so it's nice to see something. But I am very excited for upcoming episodes, and yeah, I think a classic Russell T Davies story. It's I expected it, and yeah, it was pretty good, to be honest with you. It was alright, but the baby CGI, like, seriously. It's still weird seeing Doctor Who with such a high budget. You can just see that in just the way the show looks. But it still felt like Doctor Who, and that was something that I was scared of, and that I have put in my last video, that I don't want Disney. I know Disney hasn't got full control, but it's got partial, especially with potential funding, etc. I didn't want it to take away the feel of Doctor Who and turn it into like To be fair, the Bogeyman did look like something from Stranger Things, but kind of looked like something that you would see in other things, and just the whole vibe. The Doctor's very modern. He's the most modern I've ever seen before. Even when he's doing that, and he's just so excited. Really gonna take me a while to get used to it, but I'm totally for it. I'm totally being positive. I'm totally ready to really try and fall in love with the Doctor again. Again, I never fell out of love with them, but you know, it's a new Doctor now. So yeah, pretty much all positives. Also, shout out to the Star Trek mention there. We should go and see them one day. I like that. Maybe Star Trek and Doctor Who. Let's see it. But yeah, I think that's the review. Overall, pretty positive. I mean, the episode itself, story itself was all right. I think I quite enjoyed more the little bits. We got the little conversations, the little sort of the mystery of Ruby, the mystery of the Doctor. You know, the little mystery boxes basically being set up. I like, because I'm a sucker for a mystery box. But if you're new to the channel, please just subscribe and give this video a like. And yes, I'll see you all for the Devil's Core very soon. Goodbye.